Hello everyone and welcome to the 2018 MotoGP eSport Championship. After what seems like an age, we're back here in Valencia. It's time for the grand final. In about an hour and a half's time, we'll be crowning our brand new 2018 World Champion. Lots of questions to ask here tonight, but not before we introduce and welcome back Amy Dargan. Welcome back.
Thanks, Tom. It's great to be back and in time for tonight's big final. Last year's edition was an absolute thriller, so hopefully we get a repeat performance of that tonight. Obviously, the big question on everybody's face is, can last year's winner, Trastevere, put in a repeat performance tonight and do the double? There's a long way to go before we find the answer to that question, so I think right now it's about time to introduce your fellow commentator tonight. Matt Dunn, are you there?
Yes, I am, Amy and Tom. Hi there. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us here. I'm up here ready and waiting in the commentary box, chomping at the bit to find out who is going to be the world champion and take home that beautiful BMW. Now, Tom, your seat is up here, but there's actually a third one as well for when we take this broadcast up a level to maybe level 7. But you'll find out more about that a little bit later.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed for that there, Matt. We'll see whether Amy does indeed make a commentary debut perhaps a little bit later on. Now, it is the grand final here in Valencia. It's been an incredible MotoGP eSports season so far. Lots of action that's taken place, especially with those two semi-finals. So let's take a look back, shall we, and see what this season's been all about.
Our gamers have faced a variety of different challenges throughout the course of the season that started back in July. Different circuits and also different track conditions. There were 8 challenges in total that were split into 2 parts. Gamers from around the globe attempted to book their slot in one of the 2 semi-finals by taking on, to name just a few, the Circuit of the Americas with Marc Marquez, the Saxon Ring with Bradley Smith, or even under the floodlights of Losail with Aleix Spargaro and his Aprilia. The first 4 challenges led to our first live and on-site semi-final in Misano, and then the remaining 4 culminated in our most recent semi-final in Madrid.
Yeah, for both semi-finals, the top 6 each made the cut. Now, of course, we have our 12 competitors. And we should mention, whilst every 12 competitor here will be playing tonight on the Lenovo by Legion computers on the PC, they were able to qualify on any of 3 platforms. That was the Sony PlayStation 4, the Microsoft Xbox One, or on the PC as well. However, just to give them a bit of familiarity from home, they do have the choice of having their own gaming controller here tonight as well, just to make sure that they're all comfortable and ready to go. Now, as Amy mentioned, those 2 semi-finals in Misano and in Madrid were action-packed. So let's take a look back, shall we, and see what they got up to.
It is race time here in Misano.
Christian MM17, he takes the lead, and down to the first corner. Oh, a big
Sorter is down there.
You can see a move
what a
being
move
made.
there.
Andrew Z8 straight up the inside of Timothy McGarden. Brilliant stuff from him.
Oh, it is too long too late. He's gone down.
Oh, disaster for the reigning champion, Trastevere 73. What is happening in the latter stages of this one? It's getting very close and very, very exciting.
Absolutely unbelievable. Oh my goodness.
Christian MM17, a brilliant race and a win for the Spaniard. A brilliant performance for him. He goes through, he takes victory here. Hello everyone and welcome to the 2018 semi-final 2 for the MotoGP eSport Championship is underway. It is a good start from Trastevere from pole position. Who else gets away very well? Look at Rick MotoGP 35 on the Alma Prema Ducati. Paul IG slots himself into second place. Everybody being very, very cautious to the first corner. And a big crash for Rick MotoGP 35. And Matero 1 has crashed out. Big, big drama. Here is the battle for the final position in the grand final in Valencia. Who is going to take it? It's Rioja in 6th place. It's QP Nova. Trastevere comes over the line though. He wins MotoGP eSports semi-final 2. In semi-final 1, it was Christian MM17 who took a lights to flag victory. Christian MM17 in semi-final one. After him, it was Andrew ZH, Luigi 48GP, Timothy McGarden, Adrian 26 and Elios 555 who made the cut. Reigning champion Trastevere missed the cut in Misano, but fought back in Madrid to take the win and progress through to the final. Just behind him was Paul IG, XX, Bomber 45XX, Davide Galina, Vindex and Riorca. So that makes up our 12 finalists, as you can see on screen, who are here tonight in the MotoGP eSport Grand Final. Amy, it's looking pretty tantalising, isn't it?
It certainly is, and as you just mentioned there again, Trastevere is our reigning world champion. We saw in the video there's a bit of drama this year to get to the final, but he does know exactly how and exactly what it takes to go all the way. We'll find out shortly if anyone can challenge him to the crown tonight. But first, let's cast our minds back to last year's final and see what life has been like for the reigning world champion.
The MotoGP eSport World Champion is Trastevere 73, better known as Lorenzo Daretti.
Mi ha cambiato abbastanza la vita. Unforgettable, perché comunque questa opportunità che mi ha dato la Dorna con questo nuovo campionato mi ha portato ad entrare davvero nel mio mondo ideale, ecco, quello che è il mio mondo preferito fin da piccolo. Entrare a contatto con la MotoGP, con i motori, venire qui oggi è fantastico, stare con tutti voi, insomma, è un'emozione fantastica. Spero che questo insomma, mondo dell'e-sport che sta crescendo già in sé possa crescere ancora di più anche nella MotoGP, in quanto la MotoGP anche è un settore molto specifico, ha meno visibilità magari di un calcio. Spero anche in un futuro magari di entrare nel vero mondo della MotoGP, ecco, oltre al virtuale magari anche il reale.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet again our 2017 MotoGP eSport World Champion, Trastevere.
Good to see you again, Lorenzo. So, we just saw 2017, we saw your winning race, your winning season in the MotoGP eSport Championship. Just those last 12 months, they've been pretty crazy for you, haven't they?
Yes, exactly 1 year ago I won this title, and that day was fantastic, no? Incredible. And to stay here for me is very important. Because give me the possibility to reconfirm myself, and not only this, but also enjoy the weekend, stay with MotoGP sport, that is my life. So I search to do the best of myself, and we will see it.
And 2018, of course, you qualified for the first semi-final in Misano. Didn't quite go your way, though. You didn't manage to make the cut in Misano. Was the pressure on for you coming into this one? You managed to make the cut in semi-final too, though.
Yes, obviously, but not too much. I search to stay calm and have the same mentality of last year, so not to have a lot of much pressure, because it's wrong. Will be take me on the mistakes, so try to do the best of myself and not to think a lot of pressure.
Well, we know what pace you've got on MotoGP 18, so just tell us, what's your plan for tonight then? You're riding the factory Ducati. What are you planning on doing on board that bike?
It will be difficult. The level is higher than last year, and the most important thing is to do a good qualifying, search to start on the front of the grid. We do a short race, no, only 10 laps of race, and we have to push from 1 lap to 10 lap, only lap push. So it's a short race, it's difficult, but I hope to do the best, yes.
Well, Lorenzo, very best of luck. It sounds like he's ready to go there, Amy.
It does indeed. Good luck tonight. Now listen, we know that tonight's winner will be walking away with that stunning trophy, but what you might not know is some of the other prizes that are up for grabs for our top 3.
A BMW M240 Coupe, it's designed for uncompromising performance. It's got their infamous M Sport suspension, an M Performance twin-power turbo inline 6-cylinder petrol engine, and develops a whopping 340 horsepower. That's the main prize for these guys tonight, and that is what they will be trying to take home here after the race. For the runner-up, however, it's not all bad news because they've got a KTM RC390 at their disposal. It's got incredible handling, it's agile, it's fast, it's extremely sporty, and it very much is an opportunity for them to get out on two wheels on the road as well. Our third place finisher, though, they'll be going home with a Lenovo Legion Y730 computer, and our top three to boot will have a chance to go to the Red Bull Hangar 7 in Austria, in Salzburg, to have a private tour of that venue and enjoy themselves out there on the Red Bull Hangar 7. Sounds like it's going to be pretty good fun to me.
It does. Well, talk about whetting their appetites. It's actually now the most exciting part of the evening because we're finding out who will be playing for those prizes tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet our 2018 MotoGP eSport finalists.
So the first eSport finalist making their way onto the stage is Elios 555. He's riding the Estrella Galicia Mark VDS Honda. Give him a round of applause as he comes on and takes his place in his sled. He qualified in semi-final one.
Our second semi-finalist, or second finalist tonight, made it through from the second semi-final. It's Yorka 26. A lot of support here for Yorka tonight. He's from Barcelona, Spain, and he will be sporting the Realia Vintia colours.
Adrian 26, also from Spain. He's on the Alma Pramac Ducati. He makes his way onto the stage now. Another rider who qualified in semi-final one. And you can hear from the round of applause behind us just how much support he has got here tonight in Valencia.
Our fourth finalist is Vindex 813. He's hailing from Italy. He actually qualified in challenge number 7, where he took on the Sepang International Circuit.
Just after Vindex, it's the German rider Timothy McGarden. He was here last year in the MotoGP eSport Grand Final. What is he going to be able to do? He's riding the Red Bull KTM RC16.
Our sixth finalist this evening is David Galinia 23, also from Italy in Rimini, and tonight he'll be on board the Angel Nieto machine.
It's an all-Italian affair. Next up, it's Luigi 48 GP. He rides the Aprilia RS GP machine as he makes his way onto the stage. Luigi, of course, here last year in the MotoGP eSport Grand Final. Can he turn what was otherwise a disappointing event into a positive spin this time around?
Our eighth semi-finalist, it's Bomber 45. He qualified from challenge or semi-final number 2. He hails from Almeria. He also actually qualified originally through the Phillip Island Circuit challenge number 5, and he also tips that as his favourite.
Now, this man here on board the Movistar Yamaha is Andrew ZH. He has been very fast so far here in Valencia. He hails from Italy. What's he going to be able to do on board that Movistar Yamaha YZR M1 machine?
Finalist number 10. It's a familiar face from last year's final. It's Paul IG. He was also the runner-up in semi-final 2. Can he do one better tonight?
Dabbing his way onto the stage was Paul IG, but here was the out-and-out victor from semi-final number 1. It's Christian MM17. He's riding the Repsol Honda here tonight in Valencia.
Our final man to take the stage, it's the reigning world champion, it's Trastevere. He's going for double awards tonight. He's clearly got a lot of support there. It's been a bit of a shaky road at the moment on his way to the finals, but can he make it and do a double? We'll find out shortly.
Yeah, we certainly will. Well, a very warm welcome to all of our 12 finalists here tonight in Valencia. And of course, we wish them all the very best of luck. Now, one thing to note, you might have noticed all these riders and competitors are in team shirts here in Valencia. That's because they're going to be riding those particular motorcycles. And a few of them not only have been wearing the shirts, they've also had the chance to look around a few pit boxes as well.
That sounds like an exciting way to start the weekend. It also means for our live studio audience, it's easier for you guys to pick out your players up there tonight. Now, Tom, you mentioned that our gamers tonight have already had an opportunity to look around some of the pit boxes here, but let's find out what else they've been up to over the last 72 hours here in Valencia. They all looked pretty relaxed in that video. I'm not so sure they'll be feeling quite the same at the moment because, Tom, it's time for the serious stuff to start.
Yeah, it certainly is there, Amy. Now, of course, the countdown is on the Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Valencia. Pretty unique challenge on the MotoGP calendar, so we should probably give these guys a bit of a helping hand, shouldn't we? Four-time winner Jorge Lorenzo knows his way around here pretty well.
So yeah, here we are in the Ricardo Tormo circuit. A long straight of almost 1 kilometer in 6th gear. We arrived 320 kilometers per hour. We reduced to 3rd gear. You have to brake hard in this left corner, the first on the track, but also not too late because you have to carry on corner speed. You put 4, and then another left corner in 2nd gear or 1st gear. Very slow corner. First point of overtaking, more or less. Then 2nd, 3rd, always on the left, and then you go to the right. In 2nd gear, double right corner in 2nd gear. It's important to be smooth to save the tire during all the race. Then in this period you put 3rd gear, and then you move to 2nd again for the left again in 2nd gear. Then you go to the 2nd long straight, where all the public or the most of the public are. 5th gear. You start braking to 2nd gear again, left corner. A little bit downhill there in 2nd corner. So now you go sliding third gear, very fast chicane. You have to be very careful when you turn to the right because you can crash in cold conditions, cold front tire. The last angle of the track, 1st gear, then 2nd, then 3rd. You can put the 3rd gear here in this last chicane, uphill. In this fast corner on the left, you go 4th gear, completely sliding. Very nice to make pictures and to see riders slide. And you go into the last corner in 2nd gear. You need to be careful to close the door there because they can pass you very easily, and then you put 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and you close the line. Hello guys, a lot of congratulations because you arrived into the final of the eSports Championship. So I just want to wish you good luck, be focused and don't make mistakes. Be aware because next year I will be in the final too.
I'm not so sure about that. Well, some great tips there from Jorge Lorenzo. Hopefully, guys, you took note, and we'll find out shortly if any of them come into play because it's time to head over to Tom and Matt for qualifying.
Thanks a lot, Amy. Yes, well, Jorge Lorenzo, there's not many people on this planet who know much more about winning round Valencia than him. So, gamers, hope you took note of that one. But let's get ready for qualifying, Tom. All important. Who's going to get pole position, front row of the grid? Because it can all be over if you get caught up in the pack in the first corner.
Yeah, certainly can do, Matt. Yeah, 10-minute qualifying session for these guys then. Let's get ready to see who will line up where on the grid. It's time for qualifying for the grand final. The Circuit Ricardo Tormo here in Valencia then is the venue for the MotoGP eSport Grand Final. A unique challenge on the circuit as well. It's going to be interesting to see who will line up where. A 10-minute qualifying session, so Matt, it is pretty crucial to get those laps in, especially in those early stages of the session.
Yeah, absolutely. Good news for these guys is the weather on the track in the virtual world is nothing like it is outside at the moment. It's been a horrendous Friday weather-wise here, but on the track, completely dry conditions. We were expecting some seriously quick lap times yesterday in our little rehearsals, where these guys did have a full qualifying session and race. It was some phenomenal action the way through, though plenty of crashes, and lots of people really mussed up their sessions towards the end of the 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, absolutely right. It is, as we say, crucial to get those lap times in pretty early on, because they are very tough here race direction in terms of track limits. That's one thing especially to mention, and we'll guide you through that over the course of the session when lap times do get disallowed, because it's not a case of if they will get disallowed, it's when they will get disallowed, because all these riders, of course, they're just pushing those limits, trying to push that little bit hard and get those sessions and those lap times in underway. No, speaking of underway, the session is go. It's time for qualifying to get underway. Then 10 minutes and these guys will get one out lap, then they'll start their flying laps over the course of this session. You can see the Aspar Ducati making their way out. That's David Galina, 23. Here is the reigning champion though, Matt Trastevere, on board that factory Ducati.
Yeah, he said in your interview with him on stage there, Tom, he is really focused on this qualifying, getting the best lap possible. He wants that pole position again. He knows just how crucial it is, although we've already had a crash, it seems, at that point. At the moment, it's only an out lap. You've got to be, well, he hasn't invalidated any lap time this time around, because of course they're not setting one, but you don't want to be making mistakes this early on, Tom. There's only 9 minutes left.
Well, absolutely right there, Matt. And of course, cold tyres, it is a factor on the MotoGP 18 video game, so it's just crucial to not push too hard in those first few corners, as a few riders have done. That was Andrew ZH who sent it down the road. Just looking here at Christian MM17, your winner from semi-final 1 in Mazzano. He is on board the Repsol Honda machine, and he'll be looking to try and take victory here tonight, but he needs to get himself a good qualifying position. He's just on his outlap there behind the Estrella Galicia Mark BDS Honda. That's Eligos 555. Now on board with Andrew ZH, just flicking it left into this final sector. It's one of the few overtaking opportunities coming down into the final corner here, Matt.
Yeah, and I was just noticing how bunched up they all are. We saw the same in qualifying yesterday as well. Now, of course, you're not going to find any sorts of things of cruising around on track and getting penalised for that by race direction. But you do want to pay attention between who you're chasing at the moment. Some of these guys a little bit slower than maybe others at certain times, and you don't want to get caught up in back markers, get caught in too much traffic. This isn't the race, this is qualifying. It's all about that one out lap time. So we should be getting the first sectors coming in at the moment. Obviously, it's going to be personal best. And Tom, you want to clarify what the colours mean?
Yeah, absolutely right. You can see the tower graphic on the left-hand side of your screen. If it's in orange, as it is for all of the riders, of course, because they're on their first representative lap time, it means it's a personal best sector for those particular riders. If it goes red in any particular sector, that means it's an overall best sector time, and if it goes grey, that means it's not an improvement on either, of course, the overall time or indeed their personal best time in that particular part in the lap. Of course, because no representative lap times have been set thus far, it does mean that all lap times coming in at the moment are going to be personal best as we stand. Just to mention as well on that graphic, the white triangles with the red background on them, that means that lap time has been disallowed. We talked about that. We will already see Timothy McGarden has had his lap time disallowed, presumably for track limits.
Yeah, and we're keeping an eye on Paul IG at the moment, who's got clear track all around him. Nobody around, so no distractions whatsoever at the moment. And it looks like, it was looking to be a pretty good lap at that particular stage, but more invalidated laps coming in, including Paul IG himself. Have a Vindex 813 crossing the line at the moment. A full gaggle of riders here.
Yeah, we just saw Christian MM17 as well. He sadly went down in his first flying lap. You can see the first lap times coming in then. It is Andrew ZH, the man who was actually quickest in the races we had yesterday, just to give these guys a bit of practice. He was very fast, but he has had a crash then on his second flying lap. So lap number 2 is not going to be an improvement for Andrew ZH, but a 1 minute 23.389 is a very good banker lap time for the Spanish rider.
Yeah, and the best thing about this, look how close those gaps are at the moment, just sort of 1/10 separating them, and we're looking at Luigi 48 GP, just 0.050. I think that is on our timing screens, just down at the moment. Oh, he's got an invalidated lap time, so I know he's crashed even. So that's really scuppered that one. How many minutes have we got left on the clock, Tom? Keep it on ticking down.
Yeah, absolutely right there, Matt. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Here's Trastevere, though. He's on an absolute flyer over the course of this one. You can see on the left-hand side of your picture, that is the Italian, the reigning champion at the moment, and he is looking like he's going to set himself at the top of the timesheets towards the end of this lap. Still plenty of time for that to change, though, and we'll keep an eye and see how Trastevere does get on, whether he will be able to improve on this lap time. We flick on board now with your reigning champion through that fast right-hander and then over into that final sector. The circuit really does go uphill here and then drops away quite significantly down to that final corner.
Yeah, and it's off camber as well. We saw plenty of riders going down there today also in the free practice sessions. They were wet. The treacherous conditions were a bit more amplified than they are here, but you need to be careful. And you mentioned earlier about the cold tyre factor as well. That turn 12 back there was the last time we're on the right hand side of the tyre until turn 4. Turn 4, the classic Valencia hotspot, to be going down and binning it. We got another invalidated lap time there from Royo 26 down there, and personal best sector's coming in still. We're on board with Christian MM17, just starting another lap. He's coming up to a yellow flag zone where another rider's crashed.
That's Andrew ZH who's gone down at turn number 2, sadly there. So the Movistar Yamaha goes down in that first sector. Trastevere, meanwhile, is at the top of your time sheets currently. That lap was good enough to go fastest by over 1/10 of a second to Andrew ZH. Christian MM17 shortly after that, neatly slotting himself into second position. So the front row of the grid are the quickest 3 competitors that we've seen so far here in Valencia. Will that be a trait that continues over the course of this session? Just under 5 minutes now remaining, Matt. We're already past the halfway point in this session, and it could get pretty interesting.
Yeah, Christian MM17, 2 personal best sectors there behind Trastevere, who's got an invalidated lap time as well. Look who's coming along nicely though, Paul IG, we're on board with him at the moment. 3 personal best sectors there. He's not far off the fastest time at all. You're looking at him on your screen there. Look at the focus in his eyes. It's just like the clear visors of the riders out on track earlier today.
Yeah, we just saw Christian MM17 having yet another crash in that session. So sadly, it's 2 laps out of 2 that he's not going to be able to improve by the looks of things for Christian MM17. Paul IG, here he is on board the Monster Yamaha Tech 3 machine, is now up into 3rd position. The outside of the front row as it stands for Paul so far. He's leading the pack, as you can see, that graphic on the right-hand side of your screen, that track map. So he has got clear track in front of him, and that might prove to be a benefit here for the Spaniard.
Yeah, it could well be. Oh, it's another crash there. Timothy McGarden, he's gone down too. Trastevere still on that invalidated lap time at the moment. 3 minutes, well, just under 4 minutes to go here. You can't afford to make any more mistakes in these crucial final stages.
And speaking of crucial as well, one thing we should mention is that if you do cross the line with a few seconds remaining, you are able to complete that lap, even if the timer has run out. So these guys will probably get around 2 or 3 more flying laps in over the course of this session. And it is an out-and-out session where they're just going flat out over the course of it as well. Tyre wear, fuel is not a factor during these qualifying sessions, so it does mean that they can just go absolutely flat out.
Hell for leather is what you're looking for, Tom, there.
Is the best way of putting it, and that's what they can do over the course of this session.
Andrew ZH gone down there. I knew that was going to... I saw his entry was looking a bit wide there. Just a bit too much trail braking going on, and down he went. Saw a few riders happen to that today as well. Heavy braking zone at the end of the back straight.
Yeah, that's down towards turn number 8 where he crashed, sadly, for Andrew ZH. Let's have a look at a replay of what happened. You can see him there trail braking, running a little bit wide, a little bit off the racing line. The front end tucks, and he goes down into the gravel. So Andrew ZH, not an improvement on this lap for him. He's going to have another couple of laps on the left to set some competitive lap times, but he is going to have a bit of an uphill struggle. He's currently heading the second row of the grid. Here's Adrian 26 then on board the Alma Pramac Ducati. Let's see what he can do coming down in towards turn number 2 at the moment.
He's got that LCR Honda in front of him. Is it going to hold him up a little bit? Not sure. We shall find out fairly shortly.
Yeah, Adrian 26 actually going down on that lap there, so a crash for him. Ryorka 26 also crashing out there as well. So they're dropping like flies in the latter parts of this session, and of course it doesn't necessarily disrupt it in the same way as it would do in MotoGP on the circuit here in Valencia, but on the video game it does mean their lap time's disallowed, so they have to go round again to start their next flying lap in the session.
Yeah, and give it sort of about 40 seconds or so, and if you have a crash you can forget improving your lap lap time one little bit. Trastevere, though, still commanding at the top. We're looking at him now. That was very, very wide at turn 8, though. Incredibly wide. Completely missed the apex, basically.
Yeah, you can see him there really taking liberties of track limits as well. That's one thing race direction are going to be very, very harsh on over the course of this one. You can see him there really, really wide going through.
He was keeping it wide. I think he was letting someone else go through on him, so make sure they weren't following him in any way. He can get around for pretty well. He can get around for one more flying lap now, and that's going to be the case for most of these riders at the moment.
Through the right-hander we go. We're looking at Andrew ZH here coming down in towards the fast right-hander into this final sector of the lap, and Andrew ZH with it all to do now then in 4th position. Luigi 48GP behind him. We just pick him up now on board the Aprilia. Another crash as well. XX Bomber 45 has sadly gone down. He's down in 11th position so far in this session. Over the timing line we go. Luigi 48GP, 5th fastest. No improvement for him on this lap, and he's going to have one flying lap left in the bag to try and improve. So every time these guys come over the line, it will be their final flying lap in this session. So through in towards turn number 2, Luigi 48GP goes. He needs a stonking first sector. Trastevere at the moment, you can see that as well at the top of your screen. He is very, very consistent over the course of this race, over the course of this qualifying session, rather, I should say. Trastevere, and you saw that as well with that first sector. He was only a few hundredths down on his best time. Ellie goes 5.55. Meanwhile, on board the Mark BDS, Honda is in 12th position so far. He's got it all to do, really, to try and improve, and it's not proving to be a particularly lightning lap for Ellie Ghost at the moment.
No, really struggling a little bit. We watched yesterday in their sort of rehearsal race. He had a massive clash across the line, but he qualified a lot better than this, if I remember rightly. I think it was the second row of the grid, but a big clash off the line. Really left him back in the pack, and a lot of work to do, but here we go. 16 seconds left on the clock. Can he get through in time, or is this going to be the lap that is going to set his lap time for the grid? We shall find out. Well, the LCR Honda coming over the line now.
Reigning champion Trastevere's crashed. Christian MM17. The top 2 have crashed out on their final flying lap, so no improvements at the top of the order at least. Vindex comes over the line. It's only going to be 7th fastest for Vindex then at the latter part of this session. David Galina as well. He is on a personal best lap time. You can see him there with the orange sectors. Can he improve in time as he gets ready to come over the line? David Galina, does he improve? Yes, he does, but not in position in terms of lap time. He is still in 10th place down on the final row of the grid. Trastevere, though, the reigning champion, well, you ask him questions, he's able to answer, and he has put it on pole position ahead of the grand final.
He doesn't just answer through the talking, he doesn't talk the walk, he walks the walk as well. Pole position then for Trastevere. Absolutely class work from the Italian there. We've got some Ducati royalty in the audience as well. They'll love seeing their bike up the sharp end as well. But are we going to get any late upsets here? Looks like Vindex 813 coming around. Could cause maybe a bit of an upset. Only personal best in the 3rd sector at the moment. Tricky right-hander.
Yeah, Vindex on board the LCR Honda. Let's have a look and see what he's going to be able to do. You can see the gaps, just 0.4 of a second separating them down to 8th position. Only half a second separating the top 12 riders. And Vindex looking like he could potentially put himself onto the 2nd row here. He was only a 10.5 down. He's coming down in towards the final sector, the final few corners of this lap, down in towards that final right-hander. He needs a good run onto this start-finish straight. Vindex could be onto the 2nd row of the grid here. Over the line he comes, and what is he able to do? Well, he does improve up to 7th fastest, but it is only the 3rd row of the grid for the LCR Honda rider.
3rd row of the grid. Well, I'll tell you what, one thing's for sure, turn 1, which he just passed through, it could get pretty messy, Tom Brooks. That was a fascinating qualifying session. Andrew ZH, though, whereabouts has he fallen down the order? He's in 5th. Yesterday he was well up there. Has he got the pace for the race? We'll soon find out.
Well, just one thing to mention, of course, is that the lap times are so close between those riders, as we said, just over half a second separating the top 12. Andrew ZH there, he was only a 10th, just over under 0.2 of a second, rather shy of the fastest lap time that Trastevere set over the course of that session. However, there was just nothing that he was able to do for the riders behind. And Trastevere, you can see him now here, just cooling down and getting himself ready to go for this race coming up later on. It's a 10-lap race here at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Valencia, and that was very exciting indeed to see Trastevere on pole position. And he goes 5.55, actually managed to pull something really out of the bag there, Matt, in the latter parts of that session. Very impressive performance from the Mark BDS Honda rider.
Yeah, very impressive indeed. Well, he was the man to beat in semi-final 1 as well. Let's find out how he can do it in the race coming up shortly. What a qualifying session that was, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely incredible stuff. You can see here the competitors now just sat there ready to get themselves psyched up ahead of this grand and final race very, very shortly. There's your classification after that qualifying session. Trastevere, Eligos 555, Christian MM17 on the front row of the grid. Paul IG, Andrew ZH, Luigi 48 GP are on row 2. Row 3, Vindex 813, Adrian 26 and Timothy McGarden. And then the fourth and final row of the grid, Davide Galina, Riorca 26 and Bomber 45, completing the 12 fastest gamers here in the MotoGP eSport Grand Final.
Yeah, well, we're going to probably have a look at some highlights soon as well. That was absolutely class. Trastevere, he came in and with that interview and he said, hey, look, I'm going to go on that pole position. I want to win it. He wants another BMW, Tom. Yeah. Do you think we'll get a joyride in it?
Well, we can try. I mean, I'm not entirely sure that that's going to go down too well. Not that one in particular, anyway, over our shoulders. Here's Christian MM17 then. Second fastest at the end of qualifying. What is he going to be able to do? He's on board the Repsol Honda. And let's see whether he is going to be able to put himself in a good performance. Let's have a look, though, at some highlights over the course of that session. So, the session got underway. It was a 10-minute qualifier for the riders to set their fastest times.
Yeah, and a very, very tricky, tight and twisty circuit is indeed a completely different challenge to what they're used to from all the other challenges that we had this season and the semi-finals, of course. Paul IG, he had a pretty good run, but some invalidated lap times there. He also had a crash as well. Christian MM17, to tell you what, if this was in not outside of the virtual world, it would have been an expensive qualifying session. In the early stages, plenty of personal best, but just as many invalidated lap times. Look at the concentration on Christian MM17's face there. Trastevere, though, was he ever really out of the question that he wasn't in command? He looked seriously confident here, although you can see just at the end of that session when we're getting all the riders' reaction, the big exhale there, head in his hand, sort of, this means so much to him.
Yeah, absolutely right. You can see the concentration on the rider's face there. You can see Trastevere just taking a look over to his competitors, and you can see that was a crash for Christian MM17. Not his only one that he had over the course of that session. Let's see whether he can try and turn things around and keep it on two wheels in qualifying. Eligos 555, though, was a bit of a quiet qualifying session for him, right up until he pulled an absolute stormer out of the bag towards the end, and he qualifies on that front row.
Yeah, absolutely, class. I was getting a little bit worried about him towards the end of the session, was wondering how he was going to get on, but yeah, really pulled it out of the bag when it really mattered. A crash there from Andrew ZH. Was that maybe the crash that actually hampered his confidence a little bit, that leaves him down there? Fifth place finishing and fifth place starting on the grid. Here was Trastevere, though. He's already in first position at this point. The checkered flag came out. And well, Tom, qualifying's over. We've shown who can do the outright one-off lap faster than anybody else, but who's got the racecraft and the pace to go for the win.
Well, Trastevere there, he's riding the factory Ducati here in Valencia, and you can see exactly what he was able to pull out of the bag on board that GP18. A very, very impressive performance from the 2017 World Champion. Anyway, it's time to head back down over to Amy because they're going to be giving out the Tissot watch.
Tom. So just like we see after a normal MotoGP qualifying, we do have a Tissot watch for our poleman tonight. So Trastevere would like to come and join me here in the centre of the stadium whilst you make your way over to me. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest tonight to do the honours of handing over our poleman's award. So please join me in welcoming Jorge Lorenzo. Thanks, guys. So Jorge Lorenzo is handing over the Tissot T-Race MotoGP 2018 limited edition watch. Jorge, if you would like to do the offers and give the award to Trastevere, I'll step aside and there'll be a moment now for photo. And thank you so. Well, Trastevere, good luck tonight for the final. You can go and take your seat. Jorge, you can stay with me because we've got some time for a couple of questions. Yes. Absolutely. So thank you so much, Lorenzo. You can go back to your seat now.
Felicidades, gracias.
Jorge, obviously it's your first race back and your first full race weekend back. So unfortunately, we've had some iffy conditions out there today. So how is the wrist feeling?
Well, it's tough. It's tough still. The wrist improved so much in the last 10 days. So I'm now much better than in Malaysia. But one thing is just to do normal life, to grab something, to grab some water or some plate. Another thing is to ride the MotoGP bike, no? Especially on braking with this pressure and this stress is difficult. So still not 100%, but I'm able to ride, and I will try tomorrow to be a little bit closer to the top guys, to the fastest one. But today has been difficult also with this rain, but I'm okay. I'm happy.
Now listen, you were watching qualifying there backstage. Luckily, conditions for them were a lot better than we saw out there today. But what did you make of it? And also, have you got a favourite for the win tonight?
Well, the only thing I know is that how is the name?
Trastevere.
Estevere?
Trastevere.
No? Trastevere, 73. No.
Yeah.
He's called the same as me, Lorenzo.
Yeah.
He's taller than me.
A little bit.
I'm more handsome, but it's okay. But I think he's the favorite because he won last year. He made the pole position, so I think he has more chances to win. But anything is possible in MotoGP, anything is possible also in video games. So good luck for everyone, and the best will win, no?
Just before you go, obviously, it's an important weekend for you. It's your last weekend in red. So I wondered, do you have a favourite moment riding for Ducati?
A few, luckily a few. The 3 victories has been the best moments during these 2 fantastic years. But if I have to choose one, the first one in Mugello, because I've been was after a lot of months of struggling and bad results. So when you have big period without any win, you enjoy much more. So Mugello was fantastic, and we really enjoy all together with the team that day.
Well, a new challenge for you starts next week, but thank you so much for sparing a few moments with us tonight here at the eSport final, and good luck for the rest of the weekend. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, Jorge Lorenzo. Thanks, Jorge. Thank you.
I would dream about this if I was like when I was 17 or 15 years old, to have this kind of championship, because I could become maybe very addicted to it. And was funny in Valencia last year, that for the ceremony, so you are pushing yourself to the limit during 10 years to be at this ceremony, and the guy just playing in the home, he was next to me, next to all the champions, just because he's the best in the PlayStation set.
I couldn't believe is how precise those guys were. I mean, they were racing less than half a second from each other for full race distance without any mistakes, you know. On the limit, you can see them breaking into the corner, losing the front. Like, we play with the limit in real life, they play with the limit on the game. Like, it was impressive to see.
It's good because I think an Italian won. I didn't imagine it was so realistic, and especially there was a lot of competition.
They are already professionals because I realized last year in Valencia that they are already professionals. The e-games are getting more and more important, and it's fun. In Valencia, the last event was unbelievable. How close they were, and everybody was sweating, a lot of pressure because the presents were very big actually. So
incredible. If you think of this some years ago, I don't expect that to become to this level, like a real sport with all the organization and everything.
Well, whilst our gamers take a minute to recover from qualifying, we thought we'd show you a glimpse behind the scenes in race direction. They have eyes absolutely everywhere. Now, Tom, Matt, I'm going to say that you guys have been up to something.
Don't look at me.
Was Jorge Lorenzo playing with the ticker and trying to get me back for nearly clattering in with a curtain pole?
Oh,
maybe that might be it. I'm sorry.
Could be it.
Irresponsible conduct back in Japan.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what post-race penalty, what we're doing, time penalty. Now we've got to sort something out, haven't we? Surely.
You pay for dinner tonight. That's perfect. Thank you very much.
How does that work? It's your fault.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe we should check out what actual race direction really get up to, how they came to that ridiculous decision.
What we try to do, our intention is to work as in a real life. They need to race as they race in the real life, and we penalize the same actions that we will penalize in real life. We try to see any incident, any action track during the race, and well, take a decision really close to the real life. At the end, it's the same problems that Mike Webb finds in the real life. Collisions, over limits. We'll take out more life. I would say at the end it's the same. We have less laps, we have less time to decide anything. Everything is faster, there is less laps than in real life, and as they don't have any injury, when they crash, they don't feel pain, they don't get hurt. Well, what we try to teach them, to explain them is they need to enjoy, to race, they need to be clean as much as possible, as at the end the race doesn't finish in the first lap. They know better each other, they know better the competition. Now they think a little bit more. They plan it a little bit more, they have more strategy. To enjoy the experience, because at the end it's something real nice to be part of it and enjoy and be clean. From my side, the best situation is nothing to do.
It's a tough job, but someone has to do it. Now, qualifying was pretty calm. They didn't actually have to do all that much, but we know it can get fierce and frantic. Now, Matt, you mentioned about a spare seat. I watched what you guys did in qualifying. Do you want me to head up there?
No, actually, our seat's been filled, Amy. I did tell you earlier, we're going to take this broadcast up a level, and I'll tell you what, we're going to take it up to level 7. Tom, who have you got next to you? I think I recognise this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's Marc Marquez who's joining us for the MotoGP eSport Grand Final. Marc, welcome along. Great to have you.
Hi. A surprise, eh? How is everything? I mean,
don't lean back too much, mate, or we might, you might not be racing on Sunday.
No, but really nice, really nice.
Great to have you here. So the 2018 title for yourself, it's already been wrapped up here. This time here last year, you were fighting for the title. How does it feel going into the last round of the championship with that already off your mind?
Yeah, of course, it's everything done, so you can race without pressure, and it's important to, because sometimes also to these guys, you are alone at home and you can ride in one way, but then to manage the pressure is the most difficult thing, and yeah, now riding without pressure is something sweet, something special, and we are enjoying here in Valencia. The weather is not the best one, but we are enjoying in a good way.
Now, I noticed your cap has got lots of pixels on it. Is that that's to do with the level 7 celebration that you had this year? Where we heard it's where you think you're a bit like a video game player and stuff like that, but be honest, do you think you can make more saves on the game or in real life?
Maybe now we are arriving the target on the real life, but of course on the game, imagine if I push on the real life, imagine in a game. Yeah. So in the game I don't feel the risk, so I push more and I crash every time, so I'm not so good.
Well, you do play the game as well, so who do you play the game with? Do you play it with the likes of Maverick, Jack, anybody like that?
Against as the other guys and stuff, right?
Of course. No, I play always against my brother. We have the same competition always at home, and he's much better than me.
Yeah? Yeah. Well, there you go.
I mean, he has more time. I have much more events.
Yeah, you're much more busy. Anyway, I think that's about it. I think we're about time then to get ready to go racing for the grand final here in Valencia. It's a 10-lap race here at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo in Valencia, and here is how the grid lines up for the grand final of the MotoGP eSport Championship. Trastevere, Ellie goes 555, Christian MM17 on the front row, Paul IG, Andrew ZH, Luigi 48GP on row number 2.
Yeah, and row number 3, we have Vindex 813, followed by Adrian 26. Timothy McGarden rounds out that row, and on the final row we have Davide Galina 23, Mallorca 26, and Bomber 45. Well, Marc Marquez, how crucial is it to get away and be on the first rows of that grid?
Yeah, I follow a little bit in Misano, and it's really important to start in the front and be patient and precise in the first 2 corners, because in Misano I remember that in the first 2 corners they had a big crash, and then most of the top guys they come from the back, but then the race pace are very equal, so it's really difficult to overtake.
10 lights on then, we get ready for the grand finals, get underway here in Valencia. Who will get the drag down towards the first corner? We're lights out and away we go. It's a good start from Trastevere off pole position. Christian MM17 on board the Repsol Honda on the inside as we head down towards turn 1. Who's going to get the lead? Trastevere just holds on. Look at Paul IG and a big crash there. Christian MM17 has gone down from second place and Davide Galina also down. Big drama here in the first few corners. Adrian 26 also a victim.
Oh my goodness, and Bomber 45 as well. Well, at least they're all down. Half the field pretty much has gone down, it seems like that. Goodness me, Marc Marquez, I'm so sorry, but your teammate's gone down at the first corner.
I saw it. He take a risk, but don't worry, he will come back.
He'll come back. We'll keep an eye on him, but it's Trastevere who's feeling confident then. Ellie goes 5.55 after that pretty troublesome qualifying. He's gone away pretty well too, despite, just like yesterday in the rehearsal, he had a real mare off the line all over the place as he took off.
What do we think about the first couple of laps here, Mark? How crucial are these going to be? It's only a 10-lap race here at the Circuit Ricardo Tormo. How important is it going to be to stick on the back of these riders in front?
I mean, for me, it's unbelievable how precise. I mean, they are riding in a really good way, and they are using all the track, and this is really difficult because sometimes I play on this game, but yeah, it looks like it was important the start, and now will be hard because everybody is riding really fast.
And of course, looking at these guys really cutting so finely towards the track limits as well. You got to be careful. How close do you reckon you can run it towards the green side of the curve, just over on the inside of the apex?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's something that you need to manage. For example, today in wet conditions, you were not able to touch the white lines because they were very slippery. But on dry, it's so important to use all the track and to be smooth. And yeah. Like they ride, I mean, use the corner speed to have better acceleration.
And speaking of corner speed as well, Eddie goes 5.55. We cross on board with him now. They're in second position. He is all over the back of Trastevere, your race leader. So it is Factory Ducati versus Estrella Galicia, Mark BDS Honda. And this is getting very close indeed. These top two almost there, forming a little bit of a breakaway mat at the moment between themselves and Andrew ZH in third position.
Now you say that, Tom, but I'm watching Andrew ZH like an absolute hawk, and he's not letting these guys get away at all. Yesterday in the rehearsals, he did take actually the victory, so he would have been the one who would have gotten away with the BMW. I've had some hot tips from guys in the know as well. They really rate this guy this year, reckon the man on the Yamaha could maybe take the victory. He's keeping these two in check at the moment.
What do we reckon then on here, this Marc Marquez? We've got Trastevere, we've got Eligos 5.55, we've got Andrew ZH. They're all pretty close amongst one another, but the group further back are going to be beginning to close as these two squabble amongst one another.
I have a question. They will get penalty also if they use the green?
Yeah, absolutely. If they exceed track limits
because
as well.
I see already a couple of times that they use inside it's a green. So
well, with Trastevere had a warning yesterday. I can't remember whether he got any time penalty though, did he, Tom?
No, well they can award it either during the race or they can award it after the race. So the results may be subject to confirmation, but they'll get warnings flashing up on the screen, as you guys do on your dashboards as well.
Yeah, sometimes normally we have like a 5. If you touch 5 times the green part, then you get 3 times a warning, 5 times, then you get the penalty, plus 1 position, 2, the
Are there any sections of the circuit where you don't really want to go anywhere near the green part as well? Because if you do, the bike will be too unsettled and you're going to crash, and there are other parts where you can go over it?
Honestly speaking, with a MotoGP, if you touch the green part, you are losing time. I mean, it's true that with Moto3, Moto2, they are able, they use and they gain time, but with MotoGP, you need to be on the asphalt all the time, because if not, you lose grip and you lose time.
Well, we're coming down into a very, very tight left-hander here at the end of the back straight. Plenty of guys went down, fell foul and went down there today outside on the track, but everyone's staying up right there. I'm very, very impressed, and we've got a big lead group here, it seems. It's a little bit Moto2-esque with them all just not exactly chopping and changing positions, just following each other, working out what we're doing. We're only on lap 3 of 10.
Yeah, kind of the accordion effect going on here, really. It's kind of ebbing and flowing, as you can see. Trastevere leading the way. Let's have a look at the race start here, Mark. What do you reckon about this launch away?
So yeah, it looks like the Repsol guy started really good, but here maybe he take too much risk. Now we will see in a little bit better, because I mean he touched the green. So
I don't think he even touched the green. I think he touched the grass as well. So you're definitely going to go down there, eh?
Yeah, the grass. So then he lose the front. He go wide.
Ellie goes there, just going a little bit wide, extending track limits out of the first corner. Keeps it on the straight and narrow though, but race direction is going to be keeping a very close eye on that, because again he does it going out of turn 2.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I see the race start from Valencia here, and all I'm thinking, going back to, I think it was 2012, you in Valencia Moto2, I think that looked even more like a video game than this did.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly speaking, when you were on the practice, I was on the physio, and I heard that maybe we will put wet track, but in the end I saw dry. But yeah, on 2012 I start from the last place on wet conditions, and I won the race, so it was amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Just summed it up really well. We got a battle royale going on the front. Trastevere getting bumped by Eligos 555. Oh my goodness, we're only on lap 4. It's just getting hotter. Get even more mad as it goes on.
Well, we can see the difference in lines that those two are taking going through those particular corners, and you can see a warning there, as you were predicting there, Mark, as well, for Eligos 555. Track limits coming into play again.
Well, I think that was more bumper cars warning than track limits, don't you? You can't. It's not a contact sport, is it?
Yeah, but I mean, of course, you can see to overtake is so difficult because they are so precise, and then when both riders are very fast, if you want to overtake, I mean, in MotoGP, in the motorbikes, of course the contact is not notable, but a small contact, maybe he will need it.
Yeah, I think that sort of ramming from the back end was something like we saw with Lorenzo Rossi at Assen as well. You remember that, the onboard footage, right? Something absolutely crazy, but this is just going on and on. So what an improvement this is from Eligos 555, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely incredible stuff from Eligos 555. We didn't see this pace in practice. We didn't really see it that much in qualifying. We did see him cutting the corner once again there. Race direction. This could prove to be a bit of an upset over the course of this race. He's already had one warning. If he gets one more, then I dare say there might be a time penalty handed out.
Who take the warning?
It was Eligos 555, the man in second position who we're riding on board with.
Yeah, I mean, warning is it's okay, but the problem is that now if he gets the penalty when remain 2 laps, then it's getting everything more difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be really problematic, but Trastevere seems to be holding firm, fairly confident at the front. I can't imagine the sort of pressure going through their minds at the moment. When you're in the heat of battle, Mark, do you just go into an absolute zone, or do you feel the pressure a bit more? What's going through your mind?
I mean, of course, when I'm behind somebody, just I try to understand when I'm stronger or where he struggle a little bit, and then try to prepare the last laps. Of course, now we are in the mid race, and now it's time to prepare the attack. I mean, it's time to prepare the last 3 laps. Try to understand where you can overtake, and of course put some pressure to see if the front guy can do some mistake.
And it's Trastevere who's leading the way at the moment. He's got enough of a cushion for Eligos 555 to not immediately attack behind. But what's going through your mind when you know that somebody's there, but they're not quite close enough to make a move?
Honestly speaking, I like to be behind always, because then you know and you understand better. But when you are in front and you see that it's just 4 tenths, 5 tenths behind you, you never know if the other is struggling or the other is waiting. And then maybe Trastevere is thinking this, no? Try to understand if the other is struggling or maybe he's just waiting.
Well, he's going to have to try and hope that he forces Trastevere into a mistake. Hopefully it's not going to be a repeat of what we saw perhaps at Sepang with Rossi versus Mark as well in that particular race. That was a pretty interesting one, wasn't it?
Yeah, of course. Sometimes we see some races that we have many overtakes, but sometimes the fight is against the lap time, is against the distance. And for example, Malaysia race, we had a very great fight against the distance, always plus 1 second, plus 1.2, but now looks like Trastevere have something more.
Yeah, it seems so. Well, all these riders aren't seem to be making much of a distance. We've got a few stragglers off the back, unfortunately. Davide Gallina, I think a few riders who have fallen foul of a couple of crashes. Paul IG still well in the mix there. With 3 laps to go, I don't think many of these guys are out of podium contention, you know. All it takes is that one little mistake, and if this is about the point, we might see a bit of tyre wear, and this is where the concentration starts to lapse. We've got a lot of pressure on. Marc Marquez is commentating on him.
Oh, it's interesting to see because, you know, sure the hands are sweating now. I mean, the last 3 laps, so it will be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't imagine probably sweating as much as yours do when you're on the bike as well. I don't know if we got anybody who's actually wearing gloves again this year. We did have a few guys last year wearing sort of mittens to make sure they weren't getting sweat all over the things. These things make a difference.
I remember. I remember.
And so I wouldn't say mittens as well. You wouldn't have control of your fingers. And it would be. Yeah, anyway, away from mittens and back to the race because there's just under 3 laps now remaining. We're riding on board with Christian MM17. He's on board the Repsol Honda, and you can see just how much faster he is than Vindex in front of him as well. This is the man who qualified, let's not forget, on the front row and is now fighting his way through the field.
So where are the main overtaking points if he's looking at, we're trying to make a move here, if his pace is a lot faster, where would Marc Marquez be making a move at the moment?
I mean, I would say now, but maybe on Sunday somebody will overtake me. But normally here at turn 2 is a good overtake. Then last turn is a really good place to overtake, like we see now.
Yeah.
And yeah, then of course turn 11. Also, it's really nice to turn 10, 11 is really nice to overtake.
A really great setup. We've got a cracking fight going on here, though, Tom.
Yeah, we're really nearly going down 3 wide down the straight. You can see it is Vindex now ahead of Christian MM17 through turn 1. Vindex is out wide. Is that going to allow Christian a bit of an overtaking opportunity into turn 2? Doesn't lose too much time going through there, but does exceed track limits. No way through for Christian MM17. He won't be going home with any prizes at the moment. He'll just be going home with an 8th, potentially 7th place finish at the end of this one here.
Oh, this is just, well, it's just gearing up to be an absolute awesome race. We've still got Ellie Goes 555 within 2/10 of Trastevere there at the moment. Just a couple of laps left, or under, just over 2 laps left after this. We're breaking down into turn 8 now. Got to be so careful. Of course, they count a lot of lean angle into there.
Second warning as well there for Ellie Goes 555. What do we think about his riding over the course of this race there, Mark? Do we think he's just been a bit too close to the limit?
He needs to push. I mean, it's one race, one final, so now just remain 2 laps, so he needs to give everything. I mean, it's same for me. It's same to finish second than in the gravel, so just push.
There you go. There you have it. That's the technique of Marc Marquez, isn't it? In this case, if you've got this is the championship on the line. This is Valencia last year, pretty much as well. It's all out between the Ducati and the Estrella Galicia man, and it does actually look like Andrew ZH could be out of it in the background there. These guys have got a big gap.
Yeah, they are. I mean, they are faster than the others. They are so precise. They have a really good pace. So now it will be interesting to see how these last 2 laps. I mean, of course, when you have only one chance, you need to use it, and he will try.
This is got to be careful around here. About to come around turn 3. This is where Trastevere's race came to an end yesterday, where he crashed out in humongous style, but he's been mastering it. Well, it's absolutely sublimely throughout this race. But do you think Ellie Goes 555 has stayed behind him the entire time? Do you think he has just been watching him gearing up for a final lap move?
No, he's trying already. I believe. I don't know, maybe, but he's already trying. He's already pushing to try to overtake. But Trastevere is riding in a really good way, and yeah, I mean, he's closing already the lines.
Oh, the pressure is just absolutely mounting on them at the moment. It's going to be 1.5 laps to go of this grand final, Tom.
Yeah, riding on board with Ellie Goes 555. Look at the track limits being extended there as well. He's had 2 warnings already, a 3rd strike, and race direction will be potentially implying a post-race penalty. These race results will be provisional as well, unless we hear anything otherwise. So let's hear and see and watch as they come on towards the final lap as well.
He's really squared off that for a brilliant drive over there. I'm not sure how much of a speed deficit there would be from the Honda on the virtual game than there would be on the Ducati on the straight there. I think it might be a little bit more equal than in real life. Is that right?
Yeah, on the real life is slightly different. But will be interesting this last lap.
Yeah, coming up to turn 2 of this final lap. It looks like Trastevere could well be in command here. He's got to make it through turn 3. We failed yesterday.
Yeah, that's right. Through turn 3 he goes, then down in towards this right-hander of turn 4. This is such an interesting part of the lap mark as well.
A small mistake, and now I don't know if we'll be enough.
It's so difficult to make it up on this really tight and twisty circuit, isn't it? If it was more fast and flowing, you get, oh, he's right up on him there. Oh, no, he's not. My goodness, it was the camera angle. I got out there. I heard the ohs in the background. Goodness me, my heart's in my mouth.
Nice move.
Well, he's very close indeed. There's just over half a lap to go, but through turn 8, again, a little bit wide there. He's just pushing perhaps a bit too far beyond that limit there, Mark.
He's trying, but honestly speaking, sometimes in this circuit it's so difficult to overtake, and Trastevere is riding in a perfect way.
He's just absolutely in the zone at the moment as we come into this final sector.
Well, it's just a handful of corners for Trastevere and a double world championship awaiting for the Italian. Ellie Goes 555. He's tried as hard as he can, unless he sends it down the inside at the final corner. No, not quite close enough. Onto the start-finish straight for the final time, and Trastevere becomes a double MotoGP eSport world champion here in Valencia.
Oh, what a win that was for Trastevere. And it was Ellie Goes 555 who takes second from Andrew ZH, filling out the podium. Applause all around the place. That is a real champion, a reigning champion. He knows what it's like, the guy next to us.
And a huge round of applause from the crowd here in Valencia, and you can see the emotion there on his face, Mark. Well, you've been crowned world champion 7 times now. I mean, what goes through your emotions when you've completed the feat?
This is one of the best emotions because it's adrenaline from this look. This is nice. I mean, it's full adrenaline, and this is the best thing. I mean, now I know what he feels.
Well, he's just won himself a brand new BMW M240i as well. He won one last year. He's won another one. What's he going to do? He's won more BMWs than you have now.
Don't worry. He will sell the old one and keep the new one.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, Mark. It's been a real pleasure. I've learned something new as well. I hope these guys have.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Congrats to all these guys.
And good luck on Sunday as well.
Thank you. All the very best of luck. Mark Marquez, thank you so much for joining us up here in the commentary box, and have a great end to your 2018 season.
Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Thank you.
There we go. So the racing does come to an end. A brand new event does crown a 2-time world champion in MotoGP eSport as well. What an absolutely incredible result. What an absolutely fantastic race there Matt done as well.
Oh, it was just a thrill ride from beginning to end. It really was that great. Yeah, Mark Marquez on the edge of your seat, and that is a big, tall order. And what beautiful emotions that there are down there. The audience absolutely loved it. We loved it. I'm pretty sure Amy loved it as well. We'll get a look at some highlights fairly shortly.
Yeah, we certainly will do. What an incredible race there. Action all the way, lots and lots of drama, and it really went right down to the final lap between Trastevere and Christian MM17 there, Matt.
Yeah, let's get a look at these highlights then, because it was just an absolute cracker. Ellie goes to 555, coming second on the grid then from Trastevere. What a start that was, but it was drama as we came down to that first corner. Christian MM17 going up the inside, cutting it just simply too fine on the grass, and down he goes. Pretty much nearly taken down. Paul IG is down as well. What a finish that was then from Paul IG to get all the way back up after that start. But it was all about 2 men pretty much from the off till the end, although I did think Andrew ZH keeping up with the leaders throughout most of the race. Shout out to Timothy McGarden there, and Royka 26 in the background too. They were absolutely on it for this race, gave the podium contenders something to think about for the entire time. There was contact as we went around. Ellie goes 555, getting warnings for contact plus exceeding those track limits. Did Trastevere really come under any proper threat? How much pressure was he under? Did he feel like he could succumb to it? I'm sure we'll find out with the post-event interview a little bit later on. Look at the focus in their eyes. This was Andrew ZH breaking it down into turn 14. This was around about the stage, halfway stage, where he started to lose a little bit of touch with these guys. They just edged it 10th by 10th, 100th by 100th away from him. These are the margins these guys are working with, pretty much as tight as the bikes out on track as well. Well, as we break down into the closing stages of the race, we have battle royales throughout the field as well. Christian MM17 trying to make amends for the first turn 1 incident, trying to make his way through on that LCR Honda and the Avintia Ducati. There were some outrageous moves pulled. Pretty sure these guys were very lucky to stay on board, but it was we got onto the final lap, coming out the final turn, it was all about that man again, Trastevere, taking the title yet again. He is the reigning champion, the 2018 champion. Look at that reaction to it. He was so pumped. That was pretty much the audience's reaction as well. What a race that was. Tom, Amy, it's got to go back down to you. I need a flannel and some water.
Thanks, Matt. Great work tonight. That race was unbelievable. I can't believe how much the level has gone up since last year. It's a shame, really, that there can only be one winner, but that is the name of the game, they should say. So with that in mind, I feel like we should get all of our finalists up here on stage. If you guys could all leave your seats and come and join me. And ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a massive round of applause. You guys were so entertaining tonight.
Yep.
Everybody, thank you.
Our 12 MotoGP eSport finalists then make their way onto the stage here tonight. Well, an absolutely incredible result. What an absolutely fantastic performance. And you can see Trastevere there as well. He's got everything ready. Well, just an incredible race. Absolutely fantastic here tonight in the MotoGP eSport Championship in Valencia.
Brilliant stuff there. And I would also like to invite Dorna's CEO, Carmelo Espeleta. If you could come and please join me up here on the stage now, Carmelo, and we can have a couple of words about just how amazing and how quickly this sport is growing. It's incredible, Carmelo. This is only the second year of the eSport Championship. This year we had more platforms for players to play on, more challenges, more live finals. Can this sport get any bigger?
Well, congratulations again to the winner, and I am impressed. I am not a special expert in that, but really impressed how they do. Then congratulations to all of them, and they will try to challenge next year again.
I'm sure we'll see a few familiar faces. Carmelo, if you could remain up here on the stage with me, because I do believe you're going to be handing out the awards tonight. Sure. And Tom, I think we're ready for our podium ceremony.
Yeah. Absolutely right there, Amy. We're ready then to welcome our top three finishers onto the podium. So please welcome our third place finisher, Andrew ZH.
Andrew ZH will be taking home with him tonight the Lenovo Legion Y370.
Yep.
And in second place this evening, the runner-up, he took Trastevere all the way. It was Eli Ghost 555.
And please welcome a double MotoGP eSport World Champion. It's Trastevere 73.
As we know, Trastevere takes home with him the fabulous BMW M240i Coupe.
Well then, absolutely fantastic stuff. Let's join him on the podium as well. Lorenzo, I tell you what, you can't stop winning, can you? What an incredible performance. How are you feeling?
Oh, it's incredible. I don't believe it. It's better than last time. And Elegost was very, very, very fast. Like Andrew, this is the real podium of this year. Yes. Yes.
Absolutely fantastic. So that BMW, so now, hang on a minute, you've got two BMWs. How on earth do you decide which one to drive to work in the morning?
Yeah. Now I want to drive it.
Incredible.
Now I can, yes.
Absolutely fantastic stuff there, Lorenzo. So it is time then to have our prizes presented to our top three and get the awards presented by Dorna CEO Carmelo Espeleta up here on the podium as well.
And whilst we just wait for our awards to make their way to the stage, we should also mention that our runner-up tonight, Eli Ghost, doesn't go away empty-handed either, because you can see down here to the left of the stage, he takes home that fantastic KTM RC390. But I do believe now we are ready for our podium ceremony. So let's hear it one more time for our third place finisher tonight, Andrew ZH. And in second place this evening, Eli Ghost 555. You were brilliant. Well done. And finally, our two-time MotoGP eSport World Champion, Trastevere. Trastevere, I now have the absolute pleasure of escorting you to your second BMW M240i. So I'm going to ask you to pop your trophy down on the stage for the moment. We'll leave that one there. Nobody will take it, I promise. And I know that we're going to leave it there, but we'll come back for it later. And I know that you're a gentleman, so you're going to help me down the stage. Make sure I don't slip. No pressure. Okay, so we are taking you over to your brand new BMW M240i Coupe, and to hand over the keys, we have Vladimir Bistroboda from BMW, the head of corporation MotoGP. So Vladimir, you again. I'll let you do the honours, sir, and take him to his new car.
Well, absolutely incredible. Just fantastic, isn't it, here in the MotoGP eSport Grand Final. And that does bring an end to tonight's proceedings then. Sincere congratulations to our 2018 MotoGP eSport World Champion, Trastevere 73. Thank you everybody who has joined us here tonight as well. Thank you to Amy Dargan, to Matt Dunn, to Jorge Lorenzo, to Marc Marquez, and most importantly, thank you to you for watching at home as well. Take care, and we'll see you in 2019.